then we had our afternet party. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't write it down. I was so excited about everything. Oh well.
I mean, the good news is, unlike races where we must stay under an hour a week, or we're in violation of the law, or traffic nets where people keep track of the time spent just for fun, you don't really have to report to anybody how much time you used, as far as I know. Well, I didn't. Well, I've never, I just contribute content. I've never been in charge of a search city net, so no, I hadn't, I'd not run into that.
Actually, we're doing it for practice. So, no, but actually Holly's keeping track, and we're keeping track of how many check-ins and who's checking in, and where they are, and what the net was about. So, yeah, we're keeping track, and so I'm just doing it like a DFW traffic net report. Only we had a lot of check-ins yesterday. It's a big report. It was actually check of 29, and there's no way I can squeeze it smaller. Back to you, Cat 528.
So, too much success is really not too much. I really wonder if that shouldn't become a regularly scheduled thing. I don't know if we want to have an annual simplex challenge or a quarterly simplex challenge or what, but I think that was so cool. I was having a great time. But also, I'm scratching my head and wondering if I need to buy a better antenna and shorten my feed line, and, what can I do? Because there were a lot of people out there I couldn't hear, and of course, that means I want to hear them. So yeah, I mean, it motivated everybody, and that's the fun. I can just sit here on the couch checking into nets all day, at least until I forget to pay the bills and they turn the power off. But yeah, then you get a challenge, and it's like, ooh, I would do better.
100%. I agree. I am so motivated to improve my station. I want to hear people on simplex as well. And I was talking to Robinson today about how can we create some kind of, he had a lot better ideas than I do. I can't even explain it, but like a net where we can talk around the whole city simplex. Anyway, I'm sure you have a whole lot better ideas than I can come up with. But yeah, it was a whole lot of fun, and I think everybody who had never tried simplex before made comments about how much they really liked it, and so I was excited. And we had a lot of new people on our net that I've never met before, so that was fun. Cat 528. Go ahead.
W5GUS, thanks for breaking. That was a blast. I agree 100% with Tony. Also, I think like quarterly would be kind of a fun deal. How we could improve our stations and things like that. That was just a real blast. I really enjoyed that. Even though I was listening most of the time, I did get a chance to transmit, and that was fun to see how far and where people can transmit from. The guy from Springtown, man, now that was a distance.
That was November 5, Romeo Echo Sierra. Larry in Springtown. Yeah, he was amazing. And I was hoping that BJ would come in there, although I think he's taken down his big station stuff. I don't know that he's way up in the sky like he used to be. I know he's trying to move, but I was hoping he would be in there. It was fun, and yeah, Tony and Gus, I think we should do this quarterly. We'll just add it into the rotation. Cat 5G, right?
I was just, man, and I had the simplex channel in my left ear, and I had the 146 in my right, and you were taking reports from people coming back to 88, and I didn't even know they were out there. And that was just, that was like hearing challenges. The gauntlets were being thrown down. Wait, I didn't hear so-and-so. I didn't hear so-and-so. Uh-oh. Oh, man, I want to, can I chop some extra distance off that feed line? Can I switch to a different 2-meter receiver? Should I buy a better antenna? I don't know, but I got this tingly urge to do something. I could get my collinear J-pole put back up, and I don't want to buy a better antenna. I can build a better antenna, but I'm going to do something before the next one. NT5DM, and that's the whole point.
Sierra Echo, start with the feed line. Start with the feed line. High quality feed line. Alpha Delta 5 Sierra Echo. BP.
Well, we're practically starting another Search City net right here. K5BP, yes, sir. And thank you, Alpha Delta 5 Sierra Echo. Go ahead, K5.
Well, you guys need to realize there are 3 major factors in VHF line of sight propagation, and that is height, and height. K5BP.
This is WA5 PCR. I had a blast during the Sark City simulation simplex test. I thought it was very interesting.
Well, that's right. Height, and height. That's probably be the easiest thing to do. That's for sure. Well, hopefully that would be. I know that's the best thing. Height is everything in this frequency, and we better kind of clear out here. The net is about to start. W5GUS. Catch y'all later.
Alpha Delta 5 Sierra Echo, even with height, you've got to worry about how long is your feed line. Start with your feed line, LMR 400, LMR 400. This is Alpha Delta 5 Sierra Echo.
You're too late. I've already got LMR 400. I'm just wondering if I could route it to shorten it a little. NT5DM, Skynet.
We'll be in control of your military.
But you'll be in control of Skynet, right?
That is correct, sir.
Skynet.
Does anyone need to use the repeater before we begin the 9 p.m. Skynet?
ID, since I didn't get to KF5GH monitoring.
This is KF5PDS. My name is Billy, and I'll be your net control for this session of the DARC Skynet. Skynet is a weekly net called every Saturday night at 9 p.m. concerning the subject of astronomy. Our purpose is to help amateurs become more familiar with the nighttime and daytime sky, astronomy, and space in general. This net is open to all amateurs interested in this topic, and we encourage your participation, comments, and suggestions for this net. Stations with priority or emergency traffic may enter the net at any time by using the # break and your call sign. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? This is a directed net. Please do not transmit without direction from net control. That would be me. And stations are reminded to ID at the end of your transmissions. This weekly net operates on 146.880 megahertz with a PL tone of 110.9. Check-ins via Echolink are also possible using the W5FC-R station ID or Echolink node 37247. Tonight's topics, astronomy charts, pictures, and live audio-video links are available online. Go to www.w5fc.org right now for the complete list, and remember to tell others about this popular net. All amateur operators are welcome. You need not be a member of any amateur radio club to participate. The net is 90 minutes long and is structured in several parts. General announcements, Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas events, where and when you can look through a telescope, National Space Society events, discussion topic of the evening, Was Up, space exploration and space history, constellation of the week, space launches of the week, recent astronomical discoveries, visible satellite passages over the next couple of days, astronomical Q&A, and the 73 round. All amateurs licensed to transmit on this frequency are invited to check in. So at this time, I'll turn to my alternate net control, Bill, N5BB. If you'll do the check-in honors, please.
This is N5BB, November 5 Bravo Bravo, and I will be your alternate net control. So, let's look at RF check-ins. Will people please come with their call sign, name, and location? This is N5BB, Skynet check-ins.
Kilo 5, Kilo Oscar Bravo, Philip from Grandel.
So, Golf 5, Uniform Foxtrot Romeo, Jacob, Dallas.
Whiskey Alpha 5, Papa Charlie Romeo, Larry in Arlington.
November Tango 5, Tango Mike, Tony in Dallas.
Says Kilo Golf 5, Papa Hotel, John, Plano.
Kilo 5, Oscar Sierra Hotel, Russ in Farmers Branch.
Oh, Foxtrot 5, Zulu, Bravo Lima, Bill, Farmers Branch.
Kilo Golf 5, Echo, India, Uniform, David, St. Paul, Texas.
This is Alpha 5, Alpha Hotel, Robert Richards.
This is Alpha Delta 5, Sierra Echo, Chuck Richardson.
This is Kilo 5, Kilo Tango X-Ray, Kelly in Quinlan.
Is November 5, Alpha Juliet Delta, Aaron, North Dallas.
Whiskey 5, Golf, Uniform, Sierra. It's Gus, far, far northeast Dallas.
Foxtrot 5, Juliet Hotel Alpha, Chaz, Mesquite.
Okay, let's pause there. There was a big double. Before Chaz, I have W5GUS Gus. Somebody doubled with him. Who was there? I got Aaron, I got Gus, I got Chaz. Who else was there near the end?
Golf 5, Whiskey Victor Lima, James.
Very good, James. What city are you in?
Carrollton.
KF5PDS Billy, N5BB Bill, K5KOB Philip, KG5UFR Jacob, KI5GRH Melissa, WA5PCR Larry, NT5TM Tony, F5PPH John, K5OSH Russ, KF5ZBL Bill, KG5EIU David, AA5AH Robert, AD5S E Chuck, K5KTX Kelly, N5AJD Aaron, Gus, KF5JHA Chaz, KG5WVL. Do we have any corrections or additional stations? Please come now. This is Skynet check-in, N5BB.
Hello, Echo 5, India, Charlie, X-Ray, Tom, Louisville.
Can ask Tom, KE5ICX. Do we have any other check-ins to Skynet via RF? This is N5BB.
Golf 5, Uniform, Kilo Uniform, David, Mesquite.
Can ask KG5 UKU David. Somebody doubled. Who was the other station?
BP, Lake Dallas.
Bernie, K5BP. Do we have any other RF check-ins to Skynet? This is N5BB. A very big list over on Echolink. Let me see who we have here. Larry has already checked in. Tom is here. I'm here. Billy's here. Kelly's here. Chaz is here. Brent, KF5THB. Do you want to check in on voice?
Thanks very much. This is Kilo Fox 5 Tango Hotel Bravo, Brent in Henrietta, Texas. Enjoying Skynet as always. Checking in from Echolink. Thanks very much. 73 and back to net.
I see JJ, N5IMS. JJ usually doesn't want to talk on voice. I'll give him a chance. You want to talk, JJ? I then see Gail, KI5NMY. That sounds like a pretty new ham. Gail, KI5NMY. Would you like to speak to check in to Skynet?
Kilo India 5, November Mike Yankee, Gail from North Dallas. Yep, I got my tech license about a month ago. Great to be here. Back to net.
Welcome to Amateur Radio. Every week we have this net on Saturday night. Next we have Jay, KG5BZW. You want to come in on voice, Jay?
This is Kilo Golf 5, Bravo Zulu Whiskey, Jay near Wilford.
Next we have Shane, W0MBC. Mike Bravo Charlie. Shane, is Bethany there with you this evening?
Net Control, hi guys, this is Shane, W0MBC.
And Bethany too, with my baby brother.
Yeah, that third party, Craig, is here as well. Transmitting from Blue Springs, Missouri. Hi Dallas.
Shane, hello Bethany. Very good evening to you. Next we have station I don't recognize, Tom, KC3NPG. Good evening, Tom. Would you like to come in on voice?
This is KC3NPG, Kilo Charlie 3, November Papa Golf. Tom, I'm in Pennsylvania, and good to hear you all in Dallas. Hope everybody's doing well down there and got past the storm. And this will be my 73. Good to hear everybody tonight. Monitoring. Back to you, Net Control. KC3NPG.
You're welcome here anytime. On this net, we talk about space in general, astronomy, space missions, SpaceX launches, you name it. Okay, next, I see KC3NWO, Tara. Hello, Tara. Would you like to check in on voice?
This is KC3 NWO, Kilo Charlie 3, November Whiskey Oscar here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Yeah, the weather here today was kind of warm. It was about 40 to 45 degrees today, so it was kind of a heat wave. I really didn't need a jacket outside other than a sweatshirt. So that was kind of nice. But hope everyone down there in Dallas is doing well. Getting over the storm that you guys went through. This will be my 73, KC3NWO.
Very good, Tara. Welcome to our net. Brenda, WB5OZL, do you want to come in on voice? Listen mode tonight. Hello, Brenda. And last, we have Antonio, AG9SG. Hello, Antonio. Do you want to come in on voice to say hi and let us know where you are?
Sure, thank you. This is Alpha Golf 9 Sierra Golf, Antonio. Best wishes to all, and I'll be listening here.
Where are you located? Are you up in Illinois or Indiana? Over.
This is Alpha Golf 9 Sierra Golf. No negative. I am located here in Dallas, in Oak Cliff. Over.
Thanks a lot for checking into our net. Okay, I believe I've got everybody out there from Echolink. Are there any stations I missed on Echolink or RF that would like to check into Skynet this evening? So far, we have 30 check-ins. Any more check-ins, please come now. This is N5BB, alternate net control.
November 5 Sierra, Quebec Alpha. N5 SQA.
Thank you very much. Any other check-ins? This is N5BB. We have 31 check-ins from RF and Echolink, including people from as far away as Pennsylvania. Back to our net control. KF5PDS, this is N5BB.
Great, thank you very much, Bill. This is KF5PDS Billy, your net control for this session of the DARC Skynet. Welcome to all who have checked in. All right, so let's get started with general announcements. Do we have any general announcements for this evening's net? These can be ham, astronomical, space, or of general interest to licensed hams. If you have an announcement, please come now with your call sign. I'm not hearing any announcements, so I'll go ahead with a few announcements of my own. The AMSAT Radio Amateur Satellite Group has 2 nets available to Dallas residents on Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Central Time. You will need Echolink installed and you registered. You can find the net under Groups and AMSAT. Also, a live audio link is available on their website at www.amsatnet.com. This net originates in Houston, Texas. The Dallas AMSAT Net East, Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, is every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on this repeater, 146.880 megahertz with a PL tone of 110.9. Tuesdays, Tom N5HYP is the net control. All are welcome to check in. The first Tuesday of the month is the DARC Club Night, so on this night there's no AMSAT East on that night. Dallas AMSAT Net West is every Wednesday at 9 p.m. on the Arlington repeater. Frequency is 147.140 megahertz with a PL tone of 110.9 and a positive offset. The DARC hosts several nets on Monday nights. First Monday of the month is Ham Fixin's Net, If you have a recipe, want to share a story about food, or just come to take down recipes, have a question about food, join for Ham Fixin's Net on the first Monday of the month. Second Monday is MCOM 101, Emergency Communications. Come back on the third Monday for a second helping of Ham Fixin's Net. And on the fourth Monday is GeekNet. We share everything like weird news, or if it's a geeky book, movie, trivia, brain teaser. If it's geeky, we share it on GeekNet. We have a good time with GeekNet. And if we have a fifth Monday of the month, we have a surprise net. If we told you what it is, it wouldn't be a surprise. On-air participation is encouraged. On Tuesdays, we have the AMSAT East at 8 p.m. They have question answer, info, and news for amateur satellites. On Fridays, we have CERT City simulation at 7:30 p.m. Learn about emergency radio communications via CERT-trained amateur radio operators. Melissa, KI5GRH, is usually net control. Visit the most disaster-prone city in the universe every Friday at CERT City. All are welcome. And Saturdays is the Night of Nets, with TechNet from 7 to 8 p.m., and of course at 9 p.m., Skynet. And the first and third Sundays, the Dallas Amateur Radio Club meeting on the air. Daily Lunch Bunch is at 12 noon, Monday through Friday. There's always a survey question. Eat lunch with us. And ARRLNet National Traffic System Training Net is every night at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. All are welcome to check in on any or all of these nets. And following Skynet at 10:30 is the Afterglow Movie Net. On this net, we pick a movie to view, we watch it during the week, and then on the following Afterglow Movie Net, we discuss the movie. We discuss points like plot, characterization, special effects, music, you name it. If it's about the movie, we'll discuss it. So tonight, Tom, or KE5ICX, are you ready with tonight's Afterglow info? Let me know. If not, I will be glad to give the information out. So to KE5ICX from KF5PDS.
Scott, go ahead, because I forgot to put it in the script, and I know you're very prepared. KE5ICX.
No worries. That's why I have the email. I've kept the email. It is the year 2021, the distant future. Mankind has colonized the moon, stepped foot on Mars, and made society even groovier than the 1960s. Bill Kemp looked at his latest traffic violation, doing 35,000 miles per hour in a 25,000 miles per hour zone. The moon police had it in for him. He was only 2 points away from his space license revoked, and his job at Space Corporation would end abruptly. Kemp kicked the tires on his spaceship Moon 02, and they looked pretty flat to him. He looked into space and saw a giant space sapphire orbiting above. Interesting, he thought. I wonder why I never noticed this massive orbiting fortune. Funny thing, it appears, even though people have colonized the solar system, they also get much dumber by the year 2021. Join us for this comedy or drama. You make the call on Saturday, February 28th at 10:30 p.m. Actually, it's the 27th, I believe. Moon 02 from 1969. This will be the movie that will be discussed tonight on the Afterglow Movie Net at 10:30 following Skynet. And as always, you can keep up with all events, nets, and activities by going to the club website, w5fc.org. All right, next is Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas events, where and when you can look through a telescope. If there's someone on frequency that would like to give information about the Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas, please come now with your call sign.
F5, JHA.
KF5JHA. Chaz, good evening. What information do you have for us about the Texas Astronomical Society of Dallas?
Good evening, everyone. Last night's TASS meeting featured Dr. Andrea Dupree, and her talk was titled The Mysterious Great Dimming of Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse. Just a reminder that this dimming happened just a year ago, and we talked about that for weeks on Skynet. Dr. Dupree is an astrophysicist and currently is the head of Solar, Stellar, and Planetary Sciences Division at the Center of Astrophysics at Harvard and Smithsonian in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It probably was dimmed because of a cloud of dust that the star ejected from its surface as a coronal mass ejection. That was her summary. I mean, that's a summary of what she said over the course of the talk last night. It was fascinating. The next Texas Astronomical Society Club meeting will be on Friday, March the 26th at 7:30 p.m. with Michael Gordon, and his talk is going to be about back to space. TASS Club members will receive an email to the Zoom meeting, because it's a virtual one, about a week or so in advance of the meeting. Well, we don't know when TASS will resume having face-to-face meetings, nor when TASS will resume having public observing sessions, but hopefully later this year. You can check the website, texasastro.org, for updated information and details. Okay, back to our net control. This is KF5JHA.
Great. Thank you very much, Chaz. All right, next up is National Space Society events and activities. So at this time, I will turn to Bill N5BB if you'll give us information about what's going on with National Space Society.
This is N5BB. I am the membership director of the North Texas chapter of the National Space Society. We meet on the second Sunday afternoon of every month at 4 p.m. Because we can't do an in-person meeting now, we have been meeting via WebEx, virtual meetings. Again, the second Sunday of every month at 4 p.m. If any person would like to get an invitation to be a guest to one of our meetings, all you've got to do is send me an email. It's n5bb@arrl.net. That's November 5 Bravo Bravo at arrl.net. Or you could also use my other address, space@byrom.net. SPACE@byrom.net. Our last meeting was on February the 14th, nearly 2 weeks ago, and we discussed Mars. The president of the Dallas chapter of the Mars Society was our presenter, and he spoke about missions to Mars, past and future. Our next meeting will be on March the 14th, Sunday afternoon, March the 14th. I do not know the topic. Been looking at some text messages that have been going around, but I don't have the full answer to that yet. But I should know by next week. We can't do any in-person events now because of COVID. So just about everything is virtual, and that's all I have at this time. N5BB. Thank you, Billy.
Great. Thank you very much, Bill. And just a little advertising blurb. The National Space Society of North Texas has an active Facebook page. Just type in National Space Society of North Texas into the search box and request access. You'll receive meeting reminders and club activities. This is KF5PDS, your net control for this session of the DARC Skynet. All right, next up is discussion topic of the evening, and we always talk about the nighttime sky, and I know in our introduction we always say nighttime sky, daytime sky, astronomy, and space in general. Well, we talk about the nighttime sky, astronomy, and space in general, but I don't recall we talked about the daytime sky much. So I went out and researched, and on earthsky.org, there's a great article posted by Larry Sessions in Astronomy Essentials entitled Top 10 Space Objects to See During the Day. So if you love astronomy but don't like to stay up late, well, here are 10 space objects that you can see under the right conditions during the day. So if you think that daytime sky nature watching is limited to clouds and birds, you might be missing out. Observing space objects in the daytime has its limitations and difficulties, but as with all sky watching, it also has its rewards. So here's a list of 10 surprising space objects to see in the daytime sky. Aside from the first 3 listed below, which I will read, I'll give that as a bonus. Each of the daylight observations, can be relatively difficult, but straightforward if you're prepared. On the other hand, the observations toward the bottom that are listed aren't, possible to predict. So let's see. Here they are in increasing order of difficulty, your top 10 space objects to see in daylight. Number 1, the sun. Obviously, you can see the sun during the day, but paradoxically, we're told not to look for fear of harming our eyes. And that's quite right. Gazing at the sun directly can damage your eyes. If you do take precautions and rig up a simple indirect viewing method for sun watching, what could you be looking for? You can also use a solar filter on a telescope that fits over the end of the telescope. This is just my own side notes. Beware of the filters that screw onto the end of the eyepiece. Those can crack at a moment's notice with no warning. So if you're going to view the sun with a telescope and solar filter, make sure it's one that's a full aperture solar filter that fits on the end of your telescope. You could also use indirect viewing methods like a pinhole, shoebox, and other methods. There are others that you can research on the internet. If you do take precautions, what would you be looking for? Most people look for sunspots, which are sometimes quite large. It can be easy and fun to count the number of sunspots that you see from day to day. If you keep a record of what you see, you can notice profound changes over time. There's an 11-year sunspot cycle during which the dark spots on the sun's surface would wax and wane. So you just have to keep track, and you can see when we're in solar maximum and solar minimum, you can keep track of the number of sunspots. You can also follow the website spaceweather.com, which tracks them and offers mobile phone alerts. Number 2 is the moon. There are probably lots of folks, I'm not sure how many physically speaking, but there are many that may not realize that the moon can be up in the daytime because, we're inside during the day, usually at our jobs or in school, and, you can notice that the moon is out during the day. In addition, the moon is not in the daytime sky every day. Add to that the fact that the time the moon is up during the day, sometimes it's a thin crescent and it's too close to the sun, but there are times when you can easily see the moon in the daytime sky. Number 3 is the planet Venus. Anyone who's surprised that the moon can be seen during the daytime will be amazed that under the right conditions, you can also see the planet Venus with the sun also in the sky. You can sometimes, see Venus in the morning. Certain times of the year, it's called the morning star, and other times of the year, it's the evening star. So Venus will change position. Also, you can see its phases. Sometimes it'll appear as a crescent, and other times as a disk. And anyone who's seen Venus in a reasonably dark sky knows that it's usually truly brilliant. It's usually very bright. So that's why it's usually referred to as a morning star or evening star. Number 4 are Earth orbiting satellites. These days, satellites, are quite common in the sky. Seasoned observers, you can see at least one. They look like steadily moving stars. They're silent and very high up, so it's night. It's easy to see satellites. But how about during the day? There are two sorts of satellites you're most likely to see in daylight. And one is the International Space Station, the ISS, which is sometimes, but not always, the third brightest object in our sky after the sun and moon. But why do we only see it sometimes? Well, the position and brightness of the ISS is variable, depending on where the space station is with respect to you, in other words, passing overhead versus passing further away and near the horizon. And also the brightness of Venus, which we also often describe as the sky's third brightest object, varies. Sometimes the ISS is brighter than Venus, and sometimes Venus is brighter than the ISS. Still, the ISS is a very bright satellite. If conditions are optimum, you might see it in the daylight. Spotting the ISS when it's visible in your sky is a fun pastime. And you can also get experienced with these sightings that you'll recognize when one will occur in daytime over your location. And later in the program tonight, we have a segment called Visible Satellite Passages over the next couple of days. So we'll give more information about that later on in tonight's Skynet program. Now, this article also mentions iridium flares, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that I don't know that there are any more iridium flare satellites. I thought I'd heard something to that effect. This article is from 2018, so that may be outdated information. I'm not sure. Number 5 is listed as the planet Jupiter. Even some seasoned astronomers are surprised to learn that mighty Jupiter can be glimpsed with the unaided eye in a sunlit sky. Jupiter is significantly dimmer than Venus. Finding it takes a good bit more effort, not to mention exceptionally good eyesight and excellent atmospheric conditions. The best time to see Jupiter in daylight is when it's near a quadrature, when Jupiter is about 90 degrees away from the sun in the sky. This is similar to the arrangement of first quarter and last quarter moon. In fact, it's also very helpful to have a quarter moon nearby as a kind of sky landmark to guide you to Jupiter. And another reason that you want the planet at quadrature degrees from the sun is that the sky is slightly darker there due to a phenomenon called polarization. Number 6, the planet Mars. Only a relatively few observers have caught Jupiter with the unaided eye in the daytime, and even fewer have seen Mars. However, it is possible. Number 7 is stars during eclipses. Stars that can be seen in the daytime sky, but this is a bit of a cheat. Stars, along with brighter planets already mentioned, can be seen with the unaided human eye in the daytime sky, that is, when the sun is above the horizon, normally only during a total solar eclipse. Such observations are of historical significance and in fact played a crucial role in one of the first confirmations of Einstein's theories of relativity. A few observers report that they have seen some bright stars such as Sirius with the unaided eye in the daytime sky. If indeed this is possible, it would require exceptional eyesight and exceptional sky conditions. On the other hand, observers with telescopes can see certain bright stars, not to mention the bright planets, on any clear day, although the scientific reasons for doing so are few and far between. Number 8 are daytime comets. Like the meteors with which they are sometimes confused, bright comets have been documented in the daytime sky. In fact, although not necessarily easy to observe, they are not all that rare. Comet McNaught became visible in daylight skies in 2007, and a bright daytime comet preceded Halley's Comet in 1910. Daytime comets are perhaps easier than daytime meteors because they sometimes can be predicted a short time ahead. Number 9 are daytime meteors. Rare and unpredictable very bright meteors, or bits of space debris vaporizing as they encounter Earth's atmosphere, are sometimes seen in the daylight sky. Although they occur in high atmosphere, they are included in this list because they are caused by small space objects, which many many which are known to be parts of comets or from the asteroid belt. One of the most famous incidents occurred over the western part of North America in 1972. It was seen and even filmed by observers from Utah to Alberta. Another recent daylight meteor was reported over California and Nevada on April 22, 2012. This meteor streaked across the daylight sky, creating a sonic boom that rattled windows. By the way, in the 2013 Chelyabinsk meteor also would surely have been seen in daytime if the sun had been up over Russia when it penetrated the atmosphere, causing an exceedingly bright flash and powerful shock wave and breaking windows in 6 Russian cities. And last but not least, number 10, Daytime Supernovae. Last on our list of space objects, sometimes visible in the daytime sky, are supernovae, or exploding stars. Estimates vary as to the expected frequency of supernova explosions in our Milky Way galaxy, from as many as once 20 years to once every 300 years. We don't have enough records of these infrequent phenomena to give much of an average. Many of these would not even be visible from Earth due to intervening gas and dust. In any event, the last supernova bright enough to be seen in the daytime sky was in 1572, and then only barely. The most likely candidate for a supernova explosion visible during daytime is the star Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse, as Chaz mentioned earlier in our program. Unquestionably, it will be visible in the day sky when it explodes, but when that will be is still unknown. It could be tonight, but more likely in a few thousand or tens of thousands, or maybe even a million years from now. The supernova of 1006 was likely the brightest observed stellar event in recorded history, reaching an estimated negative 7.5 magnitude and exceeding the brightness of Venus by a roughly 16 times. So there you have it, a list of 10 objects that would be possible to see during the daytime sky. And let me read off a few bonus objects for you. So in addition to the 10 items listed in the article, there are atmospheric phenomena such as beautiful solar halos and sundogs. While not quite space-related, they are sky-related and well worth coming to know. And at the beginning of February, just to throw in, I did see some sundogs and took a few pictures, and it was really fun to see those. You know, just looking up, and all of a sudden I was like, hey, there's some sundogs, so that's really fun to see. So get to know your daytime sky, and you'll find that it can be just as enjoyable as the nighttime viewing that we do. So this is KF5PDS, your net control for this session of the DARC Skynet, and you can read about those items on earthsky.org. All right, at this time, I'd like to return to our alternate net control bill, N5BB. If you'll do another check-in round, please, and after that, you have permission to hand it directly over to Chaz for what's up. So to N5BB from KF5PDS.
You're looking for any additional check-ins. I see on Echolink, this is N5BB, I see on Echolink KG5ZMG, Joe. Joe, do you want to come in on voice?
Kilo Golf 5, Zulu Bike Golf. This is Joe in Arlington. Thanks.
I also see Bobby in Wills Point, WD5BPX. Hey, Bobby, do you want to come in on voice?
It's Bobby, WD5BPX, Wills Point, Texas. I got in here a little late and missed that first round of check-ins, but thank you. I'm enjoying it. Y'all have a good evening.
Bobby. I saw you and Joe much earlier on the Echolink list. It just took a while until we got back around to it. Okay, do we have any other additional check-ins to Skynet? This is N5BB, alternate net control.
This is MFI, Whiskey Bravo number 4, Mike Foxtrot, India, Alice Low Power.
MFI. We got you, Ted. Welcome. Do we have any other check-ins to Skynet? This is N5BB.
November 5, Oscar Foxtrot, Clay in Mesquite.
Good evening, Clay. Any other check-ins to Skynet? This is N5BB.
Bravo 9, Sierra Oscar Kilo, Shannon Fort Worth.
Recognize KB9S. Okay. Hello, Sean. Okay, do we have any other check-ins to Skynet? This is N5BB. I'll turn it back to you there. Or actually, go to, I forget who's next. I'm sorry. We now have 36 check-ins. Who is next? This is N5BB.
Yeah, 5 JHA.
Go ahead.
Everyone again, this is Chaz, KF5JHA. Slide Master, slide number 1. My degree's in astrophysics. I'm the astrophysics lab manager at Dallas College on the Brookhaven campus. We call this segment of Skynet What's Up. Slide number 2, please. I haven't talked about potentially hazardous asteroids, PHAs, in a while. We're monitoring over 2,000 asteroids that could, sometime in the future, run into the Earth. Over the last couple of weeks, we've had several asteroids come closer to the Earth than the Moon. Examples are asteroid 2021 CS6 and 2021 CW7 and 2021 DG. On average, about every 2 weeks or so, we watch an asteroid come closer to us than the Moon. Even though most of these are only 1 to 20 meters in diameter, it would make for a very bad day for some people if it hit the Earth. And Billy was talking about something like that happened over Russia just not too long ago, a few years ago. I think it was, 2013, something like that. I will make a prediction that sometime over the next 3 weeks, on a slow news day, we'll hear about asteroid 231937 in the media. This asteroid is about 1 kilometer in size and about 2/3 of a mile in diameter. This size of an object hitting the Earth would cause some major damage, but it won't even get within 1,000,000 miles of the Earth. So it's much further away than the Moon at its closest. The media thinks that we need something more to worry about other than winter storms, electricity outages, food shortages, gasoline shortages, drinkable water shortages, the coronavirus, the economy, fires in Australia, locusts in Africa, or what time Skynet is on the air. By the way, Charlie knows what time Skynet is on the air. So, for more updated information about asteroid encounters, you can check out, and Billy's already told you this, spaceweather.com. It's a great place to go for all sorts of information. Number 3, please. The moon is full tonight, February 27th. On March the 1st, the moon will be at perigee, which is the point of the moon's orbit which is closest to the Earth. On March the 5th, the moon will be at its third quarter phase. The moon will be new on March the 13th. And on March 17th, the moon will be at its apogee, which is the point of the moon's orbit which is furthest from the Earth. We're now up to slide number 4, please, slide master. March the 5th, in the early morning eastern sky, Mercury and Jupiter will be about half a degree apart. The bright object, and on the right side of Jupiter, Mercury will be on the left side and will be much dimmer. Number 5, please. A few days later in the eastern morning sky on March the 9th, you can find a line of solar system objects in the southeastern sky, going from left to right, lower and to higher. Mercury is low and in the southeastern sky. Then above and to the right is Jupiter, and then further to the right, about twice as far away, is Saturn. About 5 degrees to the right of Saturn, you can find the waning crescent moon. It'll be a beautiful sight to see. I hope it's clear on the morning of March the 9th. Just the night, I should say the morning later on March the 10th, the planets Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn will all be about in the same position, but the moon will now be to the right of Jupiter and Mercury. Number 7, on the evening of March the 19th, which is actually the birthday of a famous astronomer, the moon and Mars will be found just to the upper right of the Hyades star cluster in Taurus. The Hyades is the V-shaped face of Taurus the Bull. It makes up the face of Taurus the Bull, and it's a star cluster too. Slide number 8, please. Facing south in the evening sky, Orion can be found by looking for the 3 stars of equal brightness in a straight line and evenly spaced. This is the belt of Orion. There are 2 bright stars above the belt that represent Orion's shoulders. The brighter one to the left, we've already talked about, Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse, that's how I pronounce it. And one of the to the right is Bellatrix. The 2 stars below Orion's belt form Orion's knees. The one on the left is Sirius, and the one on the right is Rigel. We talk about Rigel all the time when we're talking about Star Trek. By the way, that's still on MeTV right now. Number 9, now using Orion's belt and drawing down and to the left, you run into the brightest star in the sky other than the sun. It is called Sirius. It is the doggone good star. Yeah, okay. Because it is called the dog star. Sirius is the brightest star in the constellation of the big dog, which is Canis Major. Slide number 10, please. If you go back to Orion's belt and draw a line from the belt stars up and to the right, you could run into the brightest star in Taurus the Bull called Aldebaran. It's really a red bullseye. If you keep on going in that line, you'll see a little cluster of faint stars called the Pleiades. I've even seen the Pleiades just a couple of miles from downtown Dallas. As long as you don't have bright lights shining in your face and the Pleiades are overhead, you can usually spot them, even in bright lighting conditions. Just below Sirius, way down in the south, I don't have this on a slide, but I've talked about this in the past, is Canopus, the second brightest star. It only gets about 4.5 degrees high, and about 9 o'clock in the evening right now you can find it just south, but you have to have a clear horizon to find it. This is KF5JHA, and this is Skynet. Slide number 11, please. Last night's task meeting featured Dr. Andrea Dupree, and her talk was the mysterious Greek dimming of Betelgeuse. Just a reminder that this dimming, remember, happened just a year ago. Dr. Dupree's talk was just awesome. Kelly agrees with that on Echolink chat session over here. She said that earlier. The next Task Club meeting, once again, is going to be on Friday, March the 26th at 7:30 p.m. with Michael Gordon, and his talk's going to be about back to space. If you want more information about the Texas Astronomical Society, go to texasastro.org for information and details. I want to welcome the students from Dallas College on the Brookhaven campus that are listening and watching the Skynet tonight, probably either on YouTube or Facebook. Students, just a reminder, if you want to get stargazing class credit for this, then remember to form on eCampus by answering the questions, and do that within the next 48 hours. Now, do any of you out there in Radioland have any questions or need a fill on the information I've just given you? Or do you just have a great general astronomy question? I don't know everything, but I may know the answer to your question, or maybe someone else here on the net might know the answer to your question. Come down with your call sign if you have a question. Slide number 13. So as the moon wanes during the first part of March, well, actually starting tomorrow, so do these words for this segment of Skynet. Stay safe, keep well, pray for our world. It's the only one where humans live. Until next week, keep looking up so you know what's up. And this is KF5, JHA Chaz, back to our net control, Billy, KF5 PDS.
Great, thank you very much, Chaz. All right, as Chaz said, this is KF5 TDS. Billy, your net control for this session of the DARC Skynet. All right, next up is space exploration and space history. So at this time, I'll turn the net to Kelly, K5KTX. The net is yours.
Thank you, Billy. This is K5KTX. Mars 2020 rover Perseverance has now been on Mars for 9 sols and some hours, and we are already getting some stunning videos, imagery, and sounds. If you missed the news conference last Monday, I hope you've at least seen the descent and landing videos and photos. The rover has now sent back 5,614 raw images that you can go look at on the Mars 2020 website. One such image is a 360-degree panorama of Jezero Crater by the Mastcam Z. Go to mars.nasa.gov/Mars 2020 and then click on the multimedia link at the top right of the page. A microphone attached to the rover did not collect usable data during the descent, but the commercial off-the-shelf device survived the highly dynamic descent to the surface and obtained sounds from Jezero Crater on February the 20th. About 10 seconds into the 60-second recording, a Martian breeze is for a few seconds, as are mechanical sounds of the rover operating on the surface. Mission controllers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California have received the first status report from the Ingenuity Mars helicopter, which is attached to the belly of the Perseverance rover. The downlink, which arrived via connection through the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, indicates that both the helicopter, which will remain attached to the rover for 30 to 60 days, and its base station, an electrical box on the rover that stores and routes communications between the rotorcraft and Earth, are operating as expected. After Perseverance deploys Ingenuity to the surface, the helicopter will then have a 30 Martian day experimental flight test window. If Ingenuity survives its first bone-chilling Martian nights, where temperatures dip as low as minus 130 degrees Fahrenheit, the team will proceed with the first flight of an aircraft on another world. If Ingenuity succeeds in taking off and hovering during its first flight, over 90% of the project's goals will have been achieved. If the rotorcraft lands successfully and remains operable, up to 4 more flights could be attempted, each one building on the success of the last. Even amazing photos and videos from Mars this week was not enough. NASA also released some stunning views of Venus taken by the Parker Solar Probe. The images were captured during its close flyby of the planet in July of 2020. Though Parker Solar Probe focuses the Sun, Venus plays a critical role in the mission. The spacecraft whips by Venus a total of 7 times over the course of its 7-year mission, using the planet's gravity to bend the spacecraft's orbit. These Venus gravity assists allow Parker Solar Probe to fly closer and closer to the Sun on its mission to study the dynamics of the solar wind close to its source. But, along with the orbital dynamics, these passes can also yield some unique and even unexpected views of the inner solar system. During the mission's 3rd Venus Gravity Assist on July 11, 2020, the onboard Wide-Field Imager for Parker Solar Probe, or WSPR, captured a striking image of the planet's night side from 7,693 miles away. WSPR is designed to take images of the solar corona and inner heliosphere in visible light, as well as images of the solar wind and its structures as they approach and fly by the spacecraft. At Venus, the camera detected a bright rim around the edge of the planet that may be night glow, light emitted by oxygen atoms high in the atmosphere that recombined into molecules on the night side. It also captured a prominent Darc feature, the largest highland region on the Venusian surface. The feature appears dark because of its lower temperature, about 85 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than its surroundings. WSPR effectively captured the thermal emission of the Venusian surface. This surprising observation sent the WSPR team back to the lab to measure the instrument's sensitivity to infrared light. If WSPR can indeed pick up near-infrared wavelengths of light, this unforeseen capability would provide new opportunities to study dust around the Sun and in the inner solar system. If it can't pick up extra infrared wavelengths, then these images, showing signatures of features on Venus's surface, may have revealed a previously unknown window through the Venusian atmosphere. In space history this week, starting with February the 21st back in 2007, it was announced that NASA's Spitzer Space Telescope had captured enough light from exoplanets to identify molecular signatures in their atmospheres. Spitzer obtained the spectra for 2 exoplanets, HD 189733b, which resides in the Vulpecula constellation 370 trillion miles away, and HD 209458b, 904 trillion miles away in the Pegasus constellation. These planets are known as hot Jupiters because they are gas giants, but they orbit much closer to their respective stars, making them much hotter than the gas giants in our solar system. The use of Spitzer spectrograph to identify molecules in the atmosphere of a planet so far away was a major achievement. It was also a significant step toward being able to detect signs of life on other planets. February 22nd, 2006, the Hubble Space Telescope discovery of 2 new moons of planet Pluto was confirmed. The first evidence of the moons came in observations in mid-2005, but it took follow-up observations in mid-February 2006 to confirm the findings. Astronomers using Hubble's advanced camera for surveys found that the newly discovered moons, later named Nix and Hydra, orbit on the same plane as the already known and much larger moon Charon. This finding added evidence for the theory that the moons of Pluto were born from a collision between 2 Pluto-sized objects over 4 billion years ago. In 2011, a 4th moon of Pluto, Kerberos, was announced, and then in 2012, a 5th one was discovered and named Styx. The 23rd, 1987, astronomers first spotted the supernova they would go on to call Supernova 1987A. The Titanic supernova is the brightest since 1604. Supernova 1987A was discovered independently by Ian Shelton and Oscar Duhalde at the Los Campanos Observatory in Chile on February the 24th, 1987, and within the same 24 hours by Albert Jones in New Zealand. Later, investigations found photographs showing the supernova brightening rapidly early on February the 23rd. It was the first supernova that modern astronomers were able to study in great detail. Supernova 1987A provided the first opportunity to confirm by direct observation the radioactive source of the energy for visible light emissions by detecting predicted gamma-ray line radiation from two of its abundant radioactive nuclei. This proved the radioactive nature of the long-duration, post-explosion glow of supernova. February the 24th, 1969, Mariner 6 launched. Mariner 6 and 7 comprised a dual spacecraft mission to Mars, the 6th and 7th missions in the Mariner series of spacecraft used for planetary exploration in the flyby mode. The dual mission flew over the equator and south polar regions, analyzed the Martian atmosphere and surface with remote sensors, and recorded and relayed close-up pictures of the surface. A primary objective of the mission was to establish the basis for future investigations, particularly those relevant to the search for extraterrestrial life, and to demonstrate and develop technologies required for future Mars missions and other long-duration missions far from the Sun. The Mariner series of probes established the foundation of our knowledge of Mars, allowing us to progress to where we currently stand, with now 2 operational Mars rovers and a crewed mission to Mars planned for the 2030s. And also on February the 24th, 2011, Space Shuttle Discovery lifted from NASA's Kennedy Space Center on her final mission, STS-133. The destination was the International Space Station, and the crew was Steve Lindsay, Eric Bowe, Alvin Drew, Nicole Stott, Steve Bowen, and Michael Barrett. After this mission, Discovery was retired and is now on display at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. And on February the 26th, 2014, the NASA Kepler mission team announced the discovery of 715 new planets. Orbiting 305 different stars, this trove of data showed that multi-planet solar systems like our own appeared to be common. Nearly 95% of these newly discovered planets were smaller than Neptune, which is almost 4 times the size of Earth. This discovery marked a significant increase in the number of known small-sized planets more akin to Earth. Launched in 2009 for a 3.5-year mission, the Kepler spacecraft was retired on October 30th, 2018, after the discovery of over 2,600 exoplanets. And in astronaut birthdays for this past week, February the 21st, 1964, Mark Kelly, who was part of STS-108, 121, 124, and 134. And of course, if Mark Kelly was born on February 21st, so was his twin brother, Scott Kelly, also born on February 21st, and he's an astronaut on STS-103, 118, and Expedition 2526, and he was part of the 1 Year in Space program covering Expeditions 43, 44, 45, and 46. Bayesian was born on February 22nd, 1952, and was part of STS-29 and STS-40. And then one of my favorite astronauts was born on February 23rd, 1959. That would be Clayton Anderson. He was part of STS-117, Expedition 15 and 16, STS-120, and STS-131. And if you've not seen him in the NASA Johnson-style video, his little cameo from there, you got to go check that out. Susan Helms was born on February 26, 1958. She was part of STS-54, 64, 78, 101, and Expedition 2. And then a rare baby was February the 29th, 1936. Jack Lausna was part of Skylab 3 and STS-3. And that's all I've got this evening. Back to you, Billy. This is K5 KTX.
Great. Thank you very much, Kelly. All right, this is KF5 TDS. Billy, your net control for this session of the DARC Skynet. All right, at this time I'll return the net to my alternate net control, Bill, N5BB. If you'll do a quick check-in round, see if we've got anybody out there that would like to check in, and then return it to me, and I'll send it on to our next segment. So to N5BB from KF5PDS.
This is N5BB, alternate net control for Skynet. I've been told that Brenda, WB5OZL, wants to check in on voice. Go ahead, Brenda. OZL, this is N5BB. Are you there, Brenda? You dropped off of the Echo Link list.
WB5OZL, needing a radio check, please.
Hey, you sound great, Brenda. Yes, Brenda, you sound great, N5BB.
WB5OZL, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you fine, Brenda. Tom, if you have a way to get a message to Brenda, you might tell her. We hear you fine, Brenda. WB5OZL and 5BB. You hear me?
Back to life.
She hears me. One last try. WB5OZL, this is N5BB. Brenda, are you there? Well, we could hear her, but I guess she can't hear the repeater. Does any other station want to check in here to Skynet? This is N5BB. Or heard, so I still have 36 check-ins, Billy. And Brenda can hit the repeater, but I guess she can't hear it. N5BB. Back to you.
Great. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. All right, next up is Miss Carowinds' Constellation of the Week. So at this time, I'll return the net to Chaz, KF5JHA, if you'll take care of Constellation of the Week.
Yes, this is Chaz, KF5JHA once again. Slide number 14, Mr. Slide Master. Miss Carolyn's Constellation of the Week is named in honor of Silent T. Carolyn, KC5OZT. Carolyn contributed to Skynet each week for almost from its beginning in 2012 till May of 2019, with a detailed look at one particular constellation each week. Since there are about 52 easily visible constellations seen in the Texas skies throughout the year, out of the 88 total constellations, so Miss Carolyn covered the entire sky in a year. In her honor, we have continued that tradition of a constellation per week and named it in her honor. Miss Carolyn's constellation of the week this week is Canis Major, the big dog. Canis Major's name comes from the greater dog in Latin. Canis Major represents the bigger dog following Orion, the hunter in Greek mythology. The dog is often depicted pursuing a hare, represented by the constellation of Lepus. We've talked about that one before. Okay, here comes some jokes. I hope you are ready for this. Slide number 15, Slide Master. What does my dog and the phone have in common? I want all of you to think about this. caller ID. Oh, come on, that was funny, wasn't it? What do you get when you cross a dog and a calculator? Now, this one you should be able to get. A friend you can count on. Okay, and what do you call a cold canine? Hey, dog. I know, I hear you laughing out there. What happened to the dog that swallowed a firefly? With delight. Yeah, thank you, Tom, for your compliment over on Echolink. Thank you very much. Okay, what happened to the dog that ate nothing but garlic? It's worse than his bite. And finally, the last joke in this series, a three-legged dog walks into a bar and says, I'm looking for the guy who shot my paw. And that would be P-A-W. Okay, that's enough of that for the moment. Slide number 16. Sirius, or Cirrus, Alpha Canis Majoris. The name Sirius means the sparkling one, or more frequently, the scorching one. Compare the name Sirius with the English word to sear, which means to burn or to scorch. They both originate from the ancient Greek Syros, which means scorching. Mr. Sirius is also known as the dog star because it is the prominent star in Canis Major, Orion's great hunting dog. In ancient times, as it does today, Sirius rose with the sun near the start of the summer in the northern hemisphere. And the ancient people believed that the hot days of summer was caused by Sirius's heat in addition to that of the sun. It is Sirius' position as the dog star that gives rise to the phrase, the dog days of summer. At magnitude minus 1.47, Sirius is the brightest star in the sky, other than the sun, as viewed from the Earth. At 8.7 light years away, it is among the closest stars to the sun. It contributes greatly to its preeminence as the brightest star in the sky because while Sirius is intrinsically brighter, it is larger than the sun. It is still a main sequence star, not a giant or supergiant. Compared Sirius to Canopus, the second brightest star in the sky, I talked about that earlier. Canopus shines at minus 0.72 as seen from the Earth, yet is about 300 light years away. And remember, Sirius is only 8.7 light years away. This is a white star with white dwarf companions. Sirius B, often called the pup. Sirius B is notoriously difficult to observe because it is at magnitude 8.3 and often lost in the overwhelming glare from Sirius itself. Sirius A and B are currently 9 arc-seconds apart, heading toward a maximum of 11.5 arc-seconds in the year 2025. Oh, I thought I remembered it as 2024 the other day, or yesterday, but it's actually the year 2025. Attempting to split this double is a good test of your optics and the seeing conditions. Slide number 16. Adhere, or Adhera, the name Adhera is derived from the Arabic name meaning virgins, which originates from an ancient Arabic legend which Canis Major and Canis Minor are not dogs, but instead were two human sisters. Adhera is a double star with a magnitude 7.5 magnitude companion. In a telescope, Adhera appears as a bright white the primary star with a much fainter white companion. The companion does not jump out at first. Aldudra. There you go. That's much better. Eta Canis Majoris. It means virgin as well. Another apparent reference to the Arabic Two Sisters legend about Canis Major and Canis Minor. It's a variable star varying from 2.38 to 2.34, only a tenth of a magnitude in variation. It's an Alpha Cygnus type variable star, giving an appearance of an apparent irregular period. It's not a regular, but an irregular. It appears white in a telescope. There are many nearby stars in the field of view surrounding it, all of which are of varying brightnesses. Deep sky objects we're going to talk about. Slide number 17. M41 is an open cluster which can be seen with the naked eye from dark skies. In a telescope, M41 may field the field of view in your lowest power eyepiece. You can see varying colors in stars in the object. Some look orange while others look white or blue-white. There are many stars of varying brightness. Some appear to arrange themselves in short lines or streaks. There is one particular bright star on the extreme edge of the cluster. And I've watched this and observed this from Brookhaven campus. M41 is an easy one to find. Slide number 18, please. V60 is an open cluster that is really easily noticeable as a fuzzy patch in the finder scope. It is a pretty cluster, and it fills nicely the field of view in a medium power eyepiece in a telescope. Unlike M41, which has many different star brightnesses, most stars in NGC 2360 look about the same brightness. The star colors are also all about the same, a white or a blue-white. The cluster looks pretty in a low power, but with a field star surrounding it, it makes a very pleasing sight. JHA, and this is Skynet. Slide number 19. There are more Astronomical League observing program objects in the constellation of Canis Majoris, the big dog. I'm just giving you a sampling of a few of those objects. The Astronomical League has over 70 different observing programs. We talked about that. I think it was 72 different programs, and all of which have about 100 objects. If you observe just 10 different objects from an observing program each month, then you can earn an observing certificate and a pen in about a year. Slide number 20, and that is Miss Carolyn's Constellation of the Week, Canis Major, the big dog. I want to thank my friends Dave Hutchinson and Dennis Harwell for their research and the words on the deep sky objects that I've used, borrowed, and stolen tonight. I also at times use the website constellation-guide.com for information. Next week we'll take a look at two constellations, Canis Minor, the little dog, and Monoceros, the unicorn. Actually, Monoceros should be a rhinoceros, not a unicorn, but oh well, I didn't get to name them. Back to you, Billy, KF5JHA.
Great, thank you very much, Chaz. Yeah, we're starting to run out of time, so let's going to go ahead and try and call on Brenda, WB50ZL, and see if she would be able to give recent astronomical discoveries. So, Brenda, if you're there, the net is yours. So this is WB50ZL from KF5PDF. Okay, I'm not sure. I don't think Brenda's able to hear us. Tom, KE5ICX, would you be able to cover and maybe give a bit of information about space launches and satellite passages in addition to astronomical discoveries? Try to, I guess, give us a Reader's Digest version since we're getting low on time. KE5ICX from KF5PDF.
Yes, I can do that. This is KE5ICX, and let's see. No passes from the International Space Station of any value. Well, actually none. We have the X-37B. This is the winged spacecraft from the U.S. Space Force. This one has a couple of passes. March 1st is a very good pass. Let me bring this baby up. March 1st, this will be 1.4 magnitude, 6:06 a.m. local time. This is Dallas time. Out of the northwest, it reaches its highest point at 6:09. That's 47 degrees, and it falls at 6:12 a.m. at 10 degrees. Then we have on March 3rd, a much more favorable pass, almost directly overhead, 0.5 magnitude at 5:48 a.m. at 28 degrees out of the west-northwest. It'll reach its highest point at 5:49 a.m. at 79 degrees, and then it'll fall at 5:52. The Hubble Space Telescope. This one will fly over the Dallas area at March 8th at let's see. Just one pass, 1.4 magnitude at 2012. That's what is that? At 1800. I'm sorry, 8 o'clock our time. The west-southwest reaches highest point at 43 degrees at 2016. Local time, and then fall into shadow at 2016 as well. So it'll be, I don't know, 43 degrees above the horizon and disappear. Not bad, though. Finally, our old reliable is Infasat. This is a polar orbiting satellite that has since gone out of commission, but this thing is gigantic from the 70s and easily recognizable as a reflective object. We have February 28th. That's tomorrow. Yep, I messed up. I made 28 on something, but today is 27th. But on the 28th, we have on March 2nd, 3.0 magnitude at 6:21 a.m. It reaches highest point at 6:26 a.m. at 63 degrees and then fall at 6:31. Then the second pass that's really good is on March 8th. 3.2 magnitude at 5:58 a.m. It reaches highest point at 77 degrees at 6:03 a.m. and then it'll fall at 6:08. So that's all I got. I don't have really good stuff on other satellites, particularly the ISS. It's just not in the right position. Back to net control. This is KE5ICX.
Recheck WB50ZL.
WB5OZL, go ahead.
Anderson, I thought Tom was up next and thought I had time to step away from the radio for just a second. Not the case. But it's 10:28. I can certainly hold my article over till next week.
No problem. Thank you very much, Brenda. All right, at this time, I'll return the net to my alternate net control one more time, N5BB. If you'll do final check-ins and get me a final count for this evening's net, I'd appreciate it. N5BB from KF5 PDS.
Last check-ins before we close the net, N5BB. We have 36 check-ins. I don't see anybody else on the Echolink asking to check in. So thank you. Good night. And the afterglow is coming up in a few more moments. N5BB clear.
All right, copy that we had tonight 36 hams participating on the air, so thank you to all who checked in this evening. We hope you'll join us here next week and every Saturday night at 9 p.m. to discuss astronomy, space, and space exploration. On this net, the sky is never the limit. We're always looking for net control stations for this and all the other DARC nets. If you would like to try your hand at this, contact any of the net controls by sending an email to nets@w5fc.org. You can follow topics and discussion about this net and astronomy in general on Facebook and Twitter, as well as our audio and video streams, video archives, and other useful Internet resources by going to w5fc.org at the conclusion of this net. So until next Saturday night, this is KF5PDS, Billy, and I'll be closing the net at 22:30 local time and returning the repeater to normal amateur use. 73, everybody, and enjoy the evening discovering the universe. And remember, following this net is the Afterglow movie net, which will be discussing Moon 02 from 1969. 73, everyone.
This is KE5ICX. We're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we're coming back for Moon 02. I'll need a net control. Somebody who would like to be net control, please come now. I'm starting the clock. KE5I6. Four minutes, 30 seconds. Somebody has to be net control. Who will it be? Please step forward.
Movie. So I probably should not be net control. Well, I don't know. I could be net control if you want somebody who has no opinion inside BB.
Oh, I didn't see the movie either, and it was brought up as a movie to be seen. Even Brenda didn't pick it.
Climb up one side and knock you on the top of the head there. I would be happy if we just delayed it until next week, but that may not go over very good with other people that saw it in 5BB. I am willing to be net control if necessary, but I've already been net control. I've already taken check-ins on 2 nets tonight in 5BB.
V5OZL.
You volunteering? Would you like a blindfold or cigarettes?
V5OZL, can you hear me?
We don't know. Can you hear us?
No, if you can hear me.
Yes, I know perfectly well. You have sounded great every radio check you've done tonight, NT5TM.
Really mean to me. I would be willing to be net control for this. I don't know if my opinions are suitable for a family show, but I guess I could do it.
Can you hear me?
Who is this?
Well, this is Tom, KE5ICX. I'm doing my Blaufeld imitation. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
To have the net, I have to make a brief pit back. Please continue. I think we need sharks with lasers. I don't know.
Have Grommet be your mini-me. Okay, I guess we're ready to get started. I don't have Tom's synopsis. I guess I could read the Wikipedia synopsis. Why don't I do that? Give me a second.
WA5, Papa Charlie Romeo. Can Tom, KE5ICX, can you give me an indication of when it will be appropriate to ask you a question about Wires X? It's, sorry, not Wires X, Echolink. I have a question specific to you.
Second. Well, we're just about to start the Afterglow movie net, so we'll see if he wants to stop and talk to you for a second or put that offline somewhere while we have the net.
I'm just back because I had to make a brief break. I'm not a Wires X guy, but if you'd like to send an email or ask around, maybe somebody can give you an answer. Whoever was calling, because I was in the other room. This is KE5ICX.
I misspoke. It's a question about Echolink, and I can ask now or after the net, whichever is appropriate.
Go ahead. Everybody knows the rules on the Afterglow movie net, so they're all collecting their thoughts and quickly watching the end of Moon 02. Go ahead and ask your question. I don't know if I get an answer, but I'll try. This is KE5ICX.
Okay, you appear in the logins twice as KE5ICX and KE5ICX-L. What's going on?
That's a very good question. The reason why I appear twice is that the audio for the stream that we do for Skynet and then Afterglow movie, which just happens to show up there, those things have to have an audio link. So because I actually provide the Echolink, it's better to get it from the Echolink radio than it is from any other radio here in the house. So the link you see, the -L, is there so that we don't get a lot of interference because of transmitting. It's just kind of a weird thing, but it works better that way. If we use an actual radio here in the house, you get some distortion from radio here locally. So it's just a matter of just trying to give good audio, transmit and receive. That's the only reason why it's there. I hope that helped. KE5ICX.
Yes, sir, it did. The dash L is the audio link, and the non-dash L is your link into the system. I understand now. Thank you. WA5, Papa Charlie Romeo, back to the upcoming net.
Thank you. Well, that was interesting. All right, let's get this puppy started. Zero Two, not the worst movie ever made. And I stand by that. The plot. In the year 2021, oh, that's this year, the moon is in the process of being colonized, and this new frontier is attracting a diverse human population to lunar settlements like Moon City, Farside 5, and others. 2 denizens of this rough and tumble lunar society are the notorious millionaire J.J. Hubbard and former astronaut turned satellite salvager Bill Kemp, the first man to set foot on Mars. He left Space Corporation because he wants to explore space, while his former employer only wants to operate commercial passenger flights to and from Mars and Venus. When Hubbard hears about a small 6,000-ton asteroid made of pure ceramic sapphire, I'm buying that is in a low lunar orbit. Hey, I've had a hard week, believe me. He hires Kemp to capture it with Kemp's old moon-to-space ferry. Kemp is to transport it down to the surface of the lunar far side, even though doing so would be against Space Corporation law. Kemp, however, has little choice because he learns from Hubbard that his flight license will soon be revoked due to protests from Space Corporation. Hubbard also reveals that he plans to use the giant Sapphire for building much improved rocket engine thermal insulators, profiting from the need for even more powerful rockets to colonize Mercury and the moons of Jupiter. A young woman named Clementine arrives looking for her brother, a miner working a distant patch of moonscape at Spectacle Crater on the lunar far side. Unfortunately, the trip from Moon City on the near side would take 6 days by lunar vehicle. Since Kemp can go there much more quickly using Moon 02, she convinces him to help her learn if her brother's still alive. The terrain around this camp is not suitable, so Kemp and Clementine land and travel the remaining distance using a lunar transport buggy, which, by the way, looks like the Wienermobile. The two discover that Clementine's brother is dead and that he was murdered for his discovery, a large vein of nickel that would have made him a rich man. They are shot at by some of Hubbard's men who have followed them to the camp. Kemp takes them out one by one. Hubbard was unhappy to learn that Kemp was leaving to assist Clementine because Hubbard was responsible for Clementine's brother's death. Hubbard needed the claim to be abandoned so he could take control of it and use it as the isolated landing site for the Sapphire Asteroid. Hubbard blackmails Kemp into completing the asteroid job by threatening his and Clementine's life. Kemp kills the millionaire and some of his men in a shootout. And I love these handgun shootouts on the moon. It's so appropriate. And strands the rest on the asteroid as it collides with the moon. Because Clementine is her brother's next of kin, Kemp informs her that now she has legal ownership of the nickel vein and soon the crashed Sapphire Asteroid, making her a very wealthy woman. Okay, we're going to take check-ins. Then we're going to go around. We're going to talk about the plot, and then characterization, and then special effects. All right, check-ins. Please come now. Name. Call sign phonetically, name, and whether or not you saw the movie.
Tango 5, Tango Mike. Tony in Dallas. I have been to the initiation hazing. I saw the movie.
Echo 5, India Charlie X-ray, Tom, Louisville. For the first time in, 6, 7 years, I did not see the movie. So I'm very interested in what everybody has to said. Sue. KE5ICX.
Victor Echo Tree, Echo Papa Juliet, Earl in Belleville. Negative, I've not seen the movie.
This is going to be a short night. And NT5TM Tony, who did see the movie, KE5ICX Tom, who didn't. And Tom, you need to watch this. This is so you. I'm telling you, you're going to want to see it over and over and over. And the next station, I didn't get either your call sign or your name. I just know you didn't see the movie. If you'd please come back with those.
Victor Echo Tree, Echo Papa Juliet. Name is Earl from Belleville, Ontario. Negative, I have not seen the movie. Over.
I got Victor Echo something, Echo Papa Juliet Earl. Would you please fill in the gap?
Roger, net control. Call sign is Victor Echo Tree, 1-2 Tree. Victor Echo Tree, Echo Papa Juliet. Over.
Victor Echo 3.
Roger, that is correct. Calling on Echo Link. Over.
Okay, more check-ins. How about Echo Link check-ins now?
Whiskey Alpha 5, Papa Charlie Romeo, Larry in Arlington.
Five PCR, Larry in Arlington. Did you see the movie, Larry?
Did not.
Any other check-ins by any mode, please come down.
This is Kilo Golf 5, Mike November. Did you get me on Echo Link?
KG5 Mike November. I'm not on Echo Link currently. What's your name, please?
This is Kilo Golf 5, Papa Mike November, James, Oklahoma. I saw the movie.
KE5 Papa Mike James, and you saw the movie. Well, correct me if I got your call sign wrong.
It's Kilo Golf 5, Papa Mike, November.
I got it now, Papa Mike, November. Okay, well, thanks for joining us. Anybody else? Oh, all right then. It might be a short night. That's okay. I'm kind of tired. Let's start with the plot. Tony, NT5TM, what did you think?
I'm not sure that thinking was especially helpful for this movie. I found the plot to be ridiculous, contemptible. That's a good word too. 6 shooters, yes, 6 shooters, bar fights, claim jumping, all those lunar dome things with little Wild West wooden stockade things built in front of them because, yeah, that made sense to people in the 60s. They needed better drugs because the drugs they were taking made them stupid instead of creative. It's true, this was not the worst movie ever made, but that wasn't for lack of effort. I mean, the plot was painfully bad in every way. They even named the miner's sister instead of daughter Clementine. It was just, it's not worth talking about this long. I should go have some tea or something at T5TM.
Okay. KE5 ICX, what part did you like least?
I hate Mises to pieces, and the least is I didn't see the movie because I was traveling at the time. However, I have to say I saw some of the stills, probably the ones that they were like had on set that everybody was drinking, perhaps, but still, you know, I'm talking about still pictures. Overall, you got to remember, this movie was made in 1969, so everything was groovier, I suppose. It looked as though I did see the opening credits, and I thought, oh boy, it's what is it? After the Fox, which was a movie that came out. I think exactly that same year. Let me reset. And so they had the special effects. Pink Panther, another one, also closely related, highly influenced, I think, at the beginning. You're trying to figure out, what is this movie going to be? Well, is it going to be a comedy? Is it going to be something? And I guess, reading some of the reviews, people thought they couldn't decide what they wanted this movie to be. So that's a problem. However, looking at more still pictures, no booze, I'm looking at one of them right now with the, whatever that is, I'm trying to think what is the name of the thing? Thunderdome, looks like a Thunderdome thing, and everybody in the colorful outfits and the spacesuits and the two-piece, whatever the hell that is, thing. Yeah, okay, fine. It looks like it's going to be fun. During that same period of time, time, there were tons of things coming out on television, particularly, that has a tongue-in-cheek look to things, but with a serious attitude. The Prisoner is one of those shows, which is one of my favorite series of all time, and it has some of the best and absolutely worst episodes ever made. A similar look, feel, and tone, I think. Cool, not cool, depends on how you look at it. So you got to kind of decide what the heck do they want to do with it. So the reviews suggest that they need to do more. Somehow they couldn't decide what they wanted to do. So those are some of the things that I picked up from it. I haven't seen it except for a few minutes, probably about 15 minutes into the movie. But I'm still intrigued because this niche in time is kind of cool to me, and they think it's cool, and it should be cool to me. I'll still watch it because there's a 60s vibe that I kind of like. Go, man. Cool. Can I get a dime bag now? Back to net control. KE5ICX.
Well, thank you, Tom. Well, there are a couple things you're really going to love. In the bar, there's a sign on the wall and a lever, and it says artificial gravity. And the guy goes over there and pulls the lever, and suddenly it's sort of weightless, but it's one of the worst weightless scenes I have ever seen in my life. They're having a bar fight in weightlessness, supposed weightlessness. And luckily they didn't bring out any of the six-shooters in this scene. I don't know why not. But the dance troupe, they were called the Gojos. It was a real dance group. Were sort of flopping around weightlessly. It is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen. All right. Let's see. VE3EPJ. Earl. You didn't see it, but you got some comments?
Once again. Oh, sorry about that. Having some problems here with Echolink. Just trying to get used to it. Just new to Echolink. No, actually, kind of reminds me of the movies I used to watch as a kid. Late at night, sneak downstairs after the parents would go to bed, and we didn't have cable, so this movie was actually made before I was born. But that being the case, not really right now. I'm going to have to see if I can find it online, maybe tomorrow evening or sometime this week, and I'll definitely have to check it out. I wish I knew about the net before I actually found it. That being said, if I come back next weekend, I'll definitely be ready. I promise. That being said, that's all I've got for now on that controller. This is Victor Echo Tree, Echo Papa Juliet, over.
Not every movie that we watch is a turkey. Some of them are classics, but we kind of alternate just for fun. Okay, WA5PCR Larry, you didn't see it, but you got comments?
Not really. I'm kind of watching the movie as the net goes on, and I don't know if I would, the word ridiculous comes to mind. But no real comments yet. I'm only 10 minutes into the movie. A5 PCR, back to net control.
Okie dokie. Next up, James, KG5PMN. You saw the movie. What did you think of the plot?
This is Kilo Go 5, Papa Mike, November, James in Oklahoma. What did I think of the plot? Well, I don't know. The plot was kind of hard for me to get started on. They seemed to have a bunch of disjointed scenes in the beginning, and kind of, I don't know, halfway through, two-thirds of the way through, I don't know, whenever she found his brother in the spacesuit, which I thought was kind of ridiculous with him standing up and being a skeleton, but okay. Anyway, about that point, the plot started coming together a little bit for me, and I guess the plot turned out okay. The opening credits kind of, I didn't care for that cartoon too much, the way they opened it up, and I guess part of the other can come under care some. It was hard for me to get to understand what was going on in there, especially in the beginning. Back to the net, KG5PMN.
Do we have any more check-ins? Okay, it's my turn. I'll have to admit, I kind of fell asleep at the end, toward the end of the movie. It was very late. And I went back through and scanned it, and I read the synopsis. So I guess I'll have to go back and watch the ending again to get the full flavor of this. This is the biggest turkey. I think, I don't know. Is it the worst? Maybe? It wasn't so much the plot, it's everything else. That dancing drove me nuts. It was just stupid. The costumes were bizarre. The music was inappropriate and strange. And the cartoon in the beginning was pretty stupid as well. Yeah, I think the plot was simple enough. A girl comes looking for her brother, and she gets hooked up with the guy who's the first man to walk on Mars, which is pretty good. I did not pick this movie. I know I get accused every week, and I never pick them. And nobody ever believes me because some people lie. But the gunfights, this is a Western, right? I'm just almost speechless. Just the tone in general of this thing. What its redeeming feature is I watched an MST3K version of it, and they are amusing. So if you haven't watched it yet, then watch that. All right, next round, we're going to talk about characters. So, NT5TM Tony, go ahead.
First, I'd like to agree with you. The music was bizarre, and the dancing, it just never stopped. The whole bar was stupid. The constant dancing was just like, what are they even here for? Are they, I guess not only they're paid by the hour, but they don't get any breaks. They don't even get lunch. That was weird. The characters were, I don't know, actually not as bad as they could have been. Really did kind of admire Clementine's persistence, asking her way from one place to another. Okay, what happened to my brother? Okay, how does this work? What's a convoy? What does this do? She kind of made sense, learning about the environment and trying to accomplish her goal. whatever the name was of our balding male protagonist, the first man on Mars, whose name I can't remember. I guess he kind of made sense too. He wanted to be an explorer, and if he couldn't be an explorer, then he didn't want to just be the equivalent of an airline captain. He would just kind of do odd jobs because he couldn't get what he wanted. Oh, our big bad, the man with the monocle. I don't get why they couldn't give him a white cat that he could pet. That was kind of a characterization mistake to me. He really needed to pet a white cat as well as wear the monocle. November Tango 5, Tango Mike, back to net.
Okay, KE5, ICX, Tom, go ahead.
Science fiction, a difficult concept. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. Sometimes people pick bad movies. I don't know. What does that mean in this scheme of things? I'm not entirely sure. But in the end, did the movie make us better or worse? Only you can decide. I download Clayton's voice. Back to you, Net Control, because I didn't see this film yet, but I will. And I will seek revenge. Back to Net Control. KE5ACX.
Okay. It's going to be such a downer when everybody's seen the movie. All right, VE3 EPJ Earl. What did you think of what would you think of the characters?
Well, to be honest, I'm really not certain. Listening to the commentary, it sounds almost like spaghetti western. Just let me turn off the other radio here for a second, or get away from it. It sounds like the old spaghetti westerns and those kind of movies. That being said, yeah, it would probably be. I'm trying to find the right adjective for it. Let's say interesting to watch anyway. So yeah, I'm definitely going to have to at least watch it. Other than that, that's pretty much all I've got, I think. So back over to you, Net Controller. This is Victor Echo Tree, Echo Papa Juliet, over.
CR Larry, do you have comments on the characters?
Well, I think character development is sort of an on-the-job training thing. You know, there's, I've been watching the movie since the net started, and I don't know what half these people are. I mean, there were a couple of guys in the what looked like a lunar lander. I don't even know what their job is. So, you know, that's what I'm lacking is any kind of character development. What are these people, you know, what is their job titles? What are they supposed to be doing? I really don't know. So that's what I've got to say for the characters. WA5. Papa Charlie Romeo, back to Net Control.
Okay, KG5PMN, James, go ahead.
This is KG5PMN. Characters, well, the first characters was that guy in the, I guess it looked like two robots sitting and looking like they were watching the movie. They got in the way of the dialogue quite a bit, in my opinion. It could have done without them. The actors would be saying something and then they would talk over them and make some type of comment, which was, to me, rather annoying. I guess the characters overall did the best they could do. Like the previous said previously, they didn't really explain very much of who was who and what was going on. When they found when she found her brother, then those three guys in the spacesuits popped out and started shooting with them. Well, where did they come from? Who are they, and where did they come from? That was eventually explained later in the show, but the girl in the beginning that was kind of dressed up like more like she should have been from an Arab country. Where did she come from, and what happened to her? Actually, I never really figured out if that was the short-haired girl, that real short-haired girl, and sitting around, and then I don't know. It just seemed like a lot of the characters just popped in, and you never actually knew who they were. Back to the net, KG5PMN.
Of Ozell, if I'm not mistaken, Clementine, because she came in this headdress, making MST3K guys call her Gumby, and then she took it off at some point and had very beautiful, long, flowing hair. If I'm not mistaken, she changed into a ridiculous wig of a strange color and cut at some point, I think in the bar scene. So the fashion designers were definitely on drugs. That is the most bizarre collection of costumes that I have ever seen in any movie. Nothing fit together. It's just like, let's see how weird we can get. And they did. So, you know, some of them were okay. Some of them weren't too bad. And, you know, that's, I don't know. They just, and the hair, costumes and hair were just bizarro. Which kind of kept it entertaining. But if you haven't seen it, you got to see those dancers, especially when they're wearing those cowboy hats. That is bizarre. And you said, what happened to the girl in the beginning? Well, she had beautiful hair. She was really pretty. She's looking for her brother. She finds her brother dead, and she inherits his nickel mine. Apparently, the moon has just like the Earth has these, what do they call them? Veins of minerals. And it's also, she gets a ceramic Sapphire Asteroid that weighs 6,000 tons, made of sapphire. How cool is that? Why didn't they make it worth something? Well, apparently they had some kind of a rocket application for sapphire. Okay, I'm babbling. Do we have any more check-ins?
I have a comment.
Please go ahead.
This is WA5, Papa Charlie Romeo. And I want to make certain that people understand the distinction between watching the movie and watching the MS3K version of the movie. In the MS3K, it looks like you're in an auditorium, and, you know, you got a couple of people up front who their heads are blocking the movie, and they're providing a silly running commentary of the movie. That's their job, is to provide that silly commentary.
If you watch the actual movie, you don't get the theatrical setting with the people making comments. I just wanted to make certain that there was that distinction. WA5, Papa Charlie Romeo, back to net control.
Yeah, thanks. I saw the MST3K version, and it everything they watch, or everything that they produce, makes it better. Because they're not always right on funny, but a lot of times they're hilarious. Okay, do we have any more check-ins? Okay, we're going to talk about special effects. NT5TM, Tony, go ahead.
Mostly poor. I'm also going to lump in that with the costuming, which looked very unpleasant. Yes, in the MST3K version, when we first see people getting off a shuttle to the moon, the robots are like, oh, look, there's Naugahyde. Is there an armor all salesperson around here somewhere? Because, yeah, everyone's costumes look like they were made out of plastic. And from what little I could tell from Wikipedia, actors actually did complain that they were extremely hot and even at times had to be provided with portable air conditioners, like they were real astronauts, because they're spending all their time under bright movie lights wearing a plastic costume with just a little hole to breathe through. Actors, they have to do anything for a check because they're actors and they don't get enough work. The effects were mostly poor. The model work was often very obviously model work. The Sapphire-sized asteroid often seemed to be the size of a chicken McNugget. The reduced gravity with wires, they just seemed to hang people from wires, which I guess they couldn't see. That was good because they were against a black background. Good job there. And then kind of over-crank a little bit, just a little bit of slow motion, so things weren't quite moving fast enough. And it was about as convincing as me talking a little too slowly on the net. Yeah, see, that doesn't make you think we're under 1/6 gravity here either. So, the effects just didn't serve the movie. They didn't serve anything. They were kind of amusing in a bad way. NT5TM.
Hey, KE5ICX, Tom, go.
I had something well composed and I've decomposed since then, but I didn't see the movie, so I can't tell you anything about it except that I thought the spacesuits were pretty cool. That was great, and they had multicolored things because I'm looking at the picture that I found somewhere in all of this. And I gotta tell you something. Last week, I was at the museum. You know which museum. We won't name the name, but it has a spacesuit that was designed by American Standard. You know, the people that put astronauts on the moon in spacesuits and didn't kill them. Well, the great thing about it is I looked at this thing. It's a spacesuit, Brenda, that you're well aware of because you placed it behind me and I almost died because the thing almost crashed on top of me. I'll break now. So, in the process, I realized I checked the suit out today. Or not today, but last Sunday. And it's not really a spacesuit. It's fake. I checked it. It was kind of like moved around a lot. Well, it didn't try to kill me this time, but it was kind of like not really that good. And I realized that somehow or another flexibility was really important when you're trying to put man into space and use space lasers down on the planet, or to go to the moon, or whatever. And I don't know. I guess I'm rambling because in the end, spacesuits are spacesuits. I find Moon 02 somehow comforting because in the end, the spacesuits were great, even the two-piece ones. Net control. This is KE5I6.
I hold a grudge longer than anybody I know. That only happened once, and it was the wind. And believe me, never mind. Is that spacesuit an actual working one or just a prototype, the one at the museum?
I will say this, if net control will let me say it in my Blofeld language. Somehow or another, this spacesuit actually wasn't revision 2 for the MOL, or was it? But it was apparently an early version of the Apollo spacesuit that they wore on the moon. Or was it? I'm not sure. I saw the thing, and the placard, they put it out at Love Field, and who knows if it's right or not. Could be left. Back to that control. KE5ICX, Blowfield, back to you.
That particular spacesuit, I have often experienced a lot of vagueness in answers about what it is, where it came from, what it does, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know. One of these days we're going to get to the bottom of that. You're in charge of that, Tom. Do some research. Okay, VE3EPJ, Earl. Special effects, what do you think?
Well, I can well imagine what the special effects would probably look like on a movie that is, well, let me see, 1969, you're talking 50 years old now. CGI was non-existent back then, same with other computer-generated special effects were non-existent back then. Like the one station mentioned, the lack of gravity was essentially guys attached to wires kind of bouncing around. I can well imagine what it would have looked like, or what it will look like when I watch it. Reminds me of a lot of other older movies that I've seen where you see it's all models, and they look like models. Like the rockets would obviously look like models. And as for the costumes themselves, I cannot imagine having to walk around wearing plastic. That would be incredibly uncomfortable, I would imagine. Yeah, it would probably it'll definitely be an interesting watch. That's for sure. Back over to you. Kilo Foxtrot 5, Papa Delta Sierra. This is Victor Echo Tree Echo Papa Juliet. Over.
WA5PCR Larry, what did you think?
Back, I had to take 5. The question is special effects, is that right?
That is correct.
For a 1969 audience, I think the satellite was actually pretty good. The rest of the special effects, I'm about 30 minutes into the movie now, and so far I haven't seen much in the way of special effects, but I don't hold out much hope for them. The audiences of '69 were easily amused, so that's my comment. we'll have to see. You have to wait until we get to the end of the movie to make a real comment or so, which will be after the net. That's what I've got. WA5, Papa Charlie Romeo, back to net control.
1969, we were holding up 2001 as the standard by which all movies were judged. So I didn't see this in 69. I'm not sure why, but we certainly would have thought it silly then. And I was not on drugs in 1969. These people were. So it probably would have helped to be on drugs to see this movie, but I wasn't. But in 1969, I was living in Austin, and they were already working on that weird thing, and I was in college there, even weirder. And this movie is pretty close to the times with the weird music and the weird costumes and the hairdos and everything. They were getting a good running start at being weird. Okay, who's next? James, KG5PMN. Go ahead.
This is KG5PMN. Special effects, I don't know, I really didn't see that many special effects. One thing that bothered me was the lunar rover, I guess it was, or supposed to be. Was it? Did they just kind of pull it up and stop at that asteroid, or did they? Were they floating in orbit? I don't think I was ever at least made clear to me anyway. You know how that thing was just sitting there out in space and not landed on anything. And the other thing about it is shooting guns out there in space. Is that really a realistic idea? I don't know. Back to the net, KG5PMN.
Any more check-ins? Oh, it's my turn. Special effects. Yeah, guns in space. Love it. I thought the Wienermobile was just a great lunar rover. And the spacesuits were not really good spacesuits from a technical point. Boy, I'm having trouble thinking of anything. And then in the I don't know. Music horrible. The lever to take away your artificial gravity, that was pretty bad. All right, we are at the end of the line, and if you have anything else you want to say, please give us your name and we'll let you have a turn.
WT9V.
WT9V, Michael, how nice of you to join us. And I always ask for check-ins before I take my turn, just as a courtesy, just so you know. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I noticed you said, are there any more check-ins? And then you started talking about your routine. But that's fine. I can understand. You're a little frazzled after, Tom told the entire world that you've attempted murder of Tom, which I find highly suspicious of you. You shouldn't kill Tom. He's a nice guy. So the thing I wanted to mention is something that seems to either have escaped the attention of everyone else, or maybe you were, everybody was hiding behind their sofa. The movie was so horrible. I'm not really sure which. But did anybody else notice that there didn't seem to be any bodies inside the spacesuit, like the guy that was, you know, her brother, whatever, I don't know, the dead guy, the skeleton in a spacesuit. How does that work? When they knocked the spacesuit over, his arm was flappy, loose, like what was holding it up? And then when the guy got shot that was up on top of the hill, and he went, oh, you know, and grabbed his chest and fell over, there was nothing inside the suit. Were they people just made out of air? I have questions. And you spoiled the end of the movie for me. WT9V.
Oh, poor Michael. I'm so sorry I spoiled it. Yeah, there's so much wrong with this movie. Okay, anybody else have comments?
November Tango 5, Tango Mike.
Kilo Golf 5, Alpha Hotel Juliet.
NT5TM and the second person I missed half your call. Would you please give it to us again?
Golf 5, Alpha Hotel Juliet.
And your name?
The name here is Frank.
NT5TM. Tony, go ahead.
Reminded me of a plot point that I mentioned to her but forgot to mention on the net, which is the aftermath. This is something that was well dealt with in movies like Ghostbusters 2 and Terminator 2, or even Aliens, where, for example, characters find themselves mentally institutionalized, bankrupt, out of a job because of all the things that, they did to beat the bad guy in the original movie, but that really look bad when you look at them systematically. Okay, so the protagonist and whatever his name was, and Clementine are both alive. Great. But practically everyone else he met in the movie is dead. Clementine's brother is dead. The rich guy with the monocle is dead. All these hench people are dead. The moon cop woman is dead. The guy who rented moon buggies is dead. There are all these dead people all over the moon, and the only thing that ties this together with any kind of justification is his story, his word against theirs. To the rest of the world, this guy's just going to look like a spree killer. The aftermath of this movie is not really going to be any good for him. NT5TM.
Okay, KG5AHJ. Frank, go ahead.
I'm enjoying the discussion, but I haven't heard what movie y'all have been talking about here in a while. It sounds interesting, and if you could tell me what streaming platform or where to pick it up, I'll be interested in that. This is Kilo Golf 5, Alpha Hotel Juliet. Frank, the awesome one.
I apologize. I should have done that periodically. Moon 02. You can find it on YouTube. And to me, the preferred version is the Mystery Science Fiction Theater 3000. So you get the benefit of their comments. So it's like two shows in one. Tom puts out information on this generally every Sunday, and you can watch the movie and you can join us. So we would really love for you to come. Okay, any comments? Hey, Tom, what you got for next week?
Sure, half hour. Wait, give me a second. I'm checking. Please stand by. This is KE5ICX. I'll give it to you here in a sec.
It's okay. It's not like we have anything better to do.
Quick keyed, there was a double. You might want to resolve that.
It's a double. Did somebody else want to say something?
Should turn on the hold music, but you know, made a double because we both decided to make some snarky comments, so neither one of us heard the other one. WT9V.
Yes, that happens. And I did not quick key, Tom. Anytime you're ready, sure.
I found it, I think. Hold on. I am checking to make sure because the movies online come and go and they just, you never know. Hang on, I'm double checking. Indeed, I found it. It is 12 to the moon. 12 to the moon from, when did this movie come out? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. It's called 12 to the moon. And just to make sure that you can have a sanity check is the MST3K version. Episode 524. So I think it will be good. Or not. 12 to the moon. If you'd like additional information, you can send me an email at ke5icx.yahoo.com. That's me if you want to join, or otherwise join the YouTube, not YouTube, the Facebook group, what is it? Afterglow Movie, 2 words, Afterglow and Movie, and just sign up and we'll send you the movies 2 or 3 weeks in advance. Oh boy, I'm tired. I drove 500 and some odd miles, and I'm still awake. Back to net control, KE5I6.
I guess we're done. WV50 said all clear. Thanks, everybody.
Now, Tom's not usually this awake whenever he didn't drive 500 and something miles. WT9V.
Right, they're not sober. How bad was this movie?
Not sure yet, because I'm only part way through it, and then Brenda went and spoiled the ending, but bad. Even with the they're not. What are these suits? Space suits made out? It's like, you know, they dip the astronauts in plastic and then put plastic. I don't understand. I don't know. It wasn't good. Well, according to Tony, as long as you didn't have to wear them, or maybe that was somebody else. I thought that was Tony. Seen much less watchable things, I'll put it like that, on this net.
Thought the inner lining of the suit, you know, the part that keeps you cool, I thought that was a novel idea. Usually when you see spacesuits in sci-fi, it's just a suit you get in and get out. Here they showed you the cooling jacket as well.
WA5, Papa Charlie Romeo. They did show that liquid cooling garment, probably inspired by NASA, but it was not operative. It was not operative. It was a prop. So the actors were under movie lights wearing vinyl costumes through which they could not perspire and through which no air moved. They got very warm. November Tango 5, Tango Mike.
Service is this next one on, or are they all on YouTube?
Wait, somebody was asking about where can you see the movies? You can see them most of the time free on YouTube. And then the other comment was the spacesuits. Yeah, command module pilot astronauts going to the moon didn't need the undergarment. Just saying. KE5ICX.
Else other than space page?
I send the advanced stuff out, and this is KE5ICX. I send out the next movie through email. So if you would like to know ahead of time, or, well, actually, after the net, this net, I try and send them out on Sundays. Just send an email to Kilo Echo 5 India Charlie X-ray KE5ICX at yahoo.com if you would like to be on the email list, and I'll send you links that are available for the movie. Or if you're Facebook person, you can join Afterglow Movie, that's 2 words, Afterglow and Movie, and just sign up. And I'll send the information out. There's a files page that has 3 movies, well, 2 weeks in advance, I should say, under the files section, and you'll get the same information only a couple of weeks in advance. I hope that helps, KE5ICX.
I haven't been on space page for over 12 years now, and I am a happy and related person that never wanted to run into that again. This is Kilo Golf 5 Alpha Hotel Juliet Frank again.
All right, cool deal. Just do the email thing and we'll get it to you. I understand your feelings. KE5ICX, back to whatever this is. And, are you there?
I already cleared. Okay, this is the after discussion. I'm sorry. Listening, and I might make a comment, but the net is over. I cleared, remember? W5 up.
I seem to remember it was something like, are there any other check-ins? Well, I don't really know whatever. Okay, then that's over. Click.
It is?
Hopefully it's recorded.
That was a quadruple. Everybody count to 5, 3, and 7.
I'm guessing it was just Brenda protesting her innocence, but we know how that goes.
Was just saying that I wasn't recording this net. I recorded a couple nights ago when they were talking about Star Trek Next Generation, and I posted that parts of that up to YouTube.
It all goes to YouTube. Nobody watches anything, so it doesn't matter. Unless you're running for some office, and then if you didn't like a particular episode of Star Trek, like, Best of Both Worlds Part 1, you may not be elected to office. Just saying. KE5ICX. And crickets. Everybody ran away. Okay, fine. It doesn't matter. I'm going to watch this movie no matter what anybody thinks. Because this is the first time I've ever done this net and not seen the movie. So there.
Yeah, like I said, it's not as bad as quite a few that I've seen.
When they were shipwrecked on Mars was much worse. Oh no, that's one of my favorite movies. What was the name of that turkey, guys?
Watched it, and I've already purged it from my brain. Stranded, NT5TM.
It was.
What I recommend is trying don't think while you're watching it, because as soon as you do, it'll your brain's going to go, no, this is not, it just don't think. And, enjoy it. Pretend like you're in, 1969 and there's a lot of smoke in the air and yeah, that sounds deep. Pretend like you're Brenda in 1969. That would make a lot of sense.
I would find that pretty scary.
I love the 60s. Everything about the 60s were very 60s, and I loved it. Who doesn't like, what was it? Geez, I can't remember. Wait a minute, my bong's empty.
I might have been in the 60s, but I wasn't a child of the 60s. I was a complete and total square. You would have been bored.
The 60s, what? I wasn't around then.
Was around in the 60s. Oh, Brenda, who doesn't remember that prisoner? It's sort of Donald Pleasance, only with a guy that drank too much coffee who did the narration. I am not a prisoner. I am a free man. Make pause.
What does that have to do with the 60s?
Everything. What? You didn't live through the... Oh, that's right. You were on an Amish farm somewhere.
Big gaps.
Bad news. There was a double, Brenda, and the only thing we got out of that was big gas. Please try again. Your signal was distorted.
I apologize. I said, remember, as I've told you, we only had one TV channel in Austin, and so there were many shows that I never got to see because of that. Lots of gaps in my TV education.
So you heard a lot of sacrilege, terrible. What is that thing that flashes and makes sound and picture? No wonder. I understand now. Well, I like the series The Prisoner. Yeah, that was a good series. 1967 with Patrick McGowan. Somebody you'll never know or appreciate or understand. Any other comments from anyone anywhere? Since Brenda decided to shut everything down so early because who knows why. KE5I6.
The fact that they just threw an empty spacesuit or latex suit off the top of the cliff and went, yeah, there, he's dead, and figured that nobody would notice. Maybe nobody else did between now and 1969. Thank heavens for freeze frame. Did I just see what I thought I saw?
I was interested in a spacesuit that just had a skeleton in it. Did it have worms to eat the flesh?
Worms.
We actually live in space. We're going to have to put bodies in the reclamation equipment.
I remember what whether it was a movie or a book or TV show that was dealing with the fact that, you know, you compost the dead people.
Have to. That's the only choice.
Break, break, break.
Emergency, go ahead, emergency person.
It was ack. I didn't mention what the movie was for next week. Or did I?
I think you told everybody where to go. WT9V.
Yeah, the movie was 12 to the Moon.
Thank you. I have a short memory because I drove 5,000 miles today. All right, I'm fine. Back to net control. Ack.
We need to see that movie sometime.
I think twice, but we can do it again. I think we should have our favorite movies that we love and hate for 2 months. What do you think?
Why not? Couldn't be any worse. That's a wonderful idea.
It can always be worse, Brenda. It can always be worse.
Speaking from experience, aren't you?
Remember when it got down to -2? That's because somebody said, oh, it couldn't get any worse.
No, you didn't hear me saying that.
Always watch The Creeping Terror, which I consider the worst movie ever made.
That is the only one that I have actually recommended. I stopped after that.
Sure you did. WT9V.
And that is the worst movie ever made.
I think I'm going to go back and see who wins in this movie because I got about 30 minutes left to go. Of course, there probably aren't actually credits at the end, so might be 35. WT9V.
Yeah, they all die.
Anything you don't ruin for people, first you tell us the ending of the movie when we haven't all seen it, and then they all die. Just quit it, Brenda, quit it. WT9B.
They all live happily.
Or never. Right, we made it to midnight, even though Brenda decided she was going to shut it down early because she was totally satisfied with the film. But next week, 12 to the moon. Remember, only you can prevent lunar fires. KE5ICX, just saying.
Down, Clancy, she's pumping mud. Glad you made it back into town in one piece, Tom. WT9D.
Okay, time for Lost in Space. What's tonight's episode? They did the thing on it. Never mind, doesn't matter. Alright, see y'all later. Remember, bye-bye and bye bonds. This is KE5ICX. See you later, alligator. Bye-bye.